Hello everyone. So we are back from our travels. If you are new here, then my name is Brenda and I am doing a River Cruise 101 series. My husband and I just recently got back from our very first river cruise, and I wanted to talk about what are some of the negatives that we experienced on our river cruise journey. Now, overall, our experience was great. We did have some challenges along the way that I've spoken about. Go back and look at some of the other videos that I've done. I don't want to rehash everything here, but I did want to say that I am not giving an overall glowing review just to give a glowing review. So I was thinking about what were the negatives that we experienced on our river cruise journey. So today I'm going to talk about the top 3 issues that I feel could have been better, or things that you might experience on your river cruise journey that I thought were a negative. So I think number 3 might be surprising to people, and it might be just a personal issue for me. I'm going to call this one isolation. So isolation, of course, means being alone. And of course, we were not alone. But here's what it was, is when you are on an ocean cruise and there are thousands upon thousands of people, it is easy to not feel alone in a large crowd because your expectation is not that you're going to get to know these people. They're simply along on the same journey as you are. When you are in a smaller crowd, in this case, we had 145 passengers on our river cruise journey. Our ship was not full. It has a capacity of 196. Again, it was the Ama Magna on Ama Waterways, which is the largest capacity ship on the rivers. But we were at 145 passengers, and that is a much more tight-knit community. So there were lots of people who were traveling with other couples. It was just husband and I. And we found that we were really looking to reach out and meet new people. Now, we did have great opportunity to meet people. We had a dinner with a couple from Singapore. Great conversation, really wonderful to learn about their culture, their travels. We met a great couple from Dublin, Ireland, and we had several conversations with them. But we didn't really click with these people in a way that said that we were going to kind of be buddies and experience this cruise together. We were simply having great conversations with people, which was wonderful, but we were looking for that deeper connection. So strangely, you might not know this about me because I do these videos and I talk to you all the time, but I am a kind of a not people person. I can hold a conversation, but I really am kind of happy to be by myself. But husband is absolutely a people person. He needs to talk to everybody. He needs to tell stories. He needs to make those connections. And so when we're together, that really kind of rubs off on me. And like I said, we wanted to make those deeper connections. And it wasn't until later in our journey that we found actually 4 people traveling together who kind of invited us into their circle. But overall, I think that we felt that we were a little isolated and that we were kind of on our own. Okay, number 2. So the number 2 negative that we found on these journeys, which is something that I was aware of before, is the entertainment. So this is not a large cruise ship that has theaters and comedy clubs and ice skating rinks and all of those other kind of things. This is a main lounge where meetings happen, sip and sail, which is the cocktail hour, happens. And we found that there were, on this particular journey, 1 set of entertainers for the entire voyage. And I have to say that I was not overly impressed. I am not being negative about anybody's talent because there were songs that were sung that were really, really great. But what we found was for a non-English speaker to be trying to take many different genres of music in English fell a little flat. So where this particular entertainer really, really shined was we had one night where she was singing kind of operatic, and it was beautiful and it was amazing. But the lack of variety of entertainment was something that I knew was going to be a part of this journey, but it did really hit. So positive within the negative is because of our change of itinerary, we missed a optional Vienna concert that we were very excited about, and many people on the ship had signed up for that. And because we could not do that, our cruise manager, Vicky, made arrangements for a small concert for us on the ship. And that was really the highlight of the entertainment. It was fantastic, and I wish that it were longer. On a normal river cruise journey, often there are local entertainers that do come in, and I'm not sure if it was because of we were in ports that we were not originally scheduled to be in for much of the time, that didn't happen on our cruise. There also was some downtime, and we are not used to downtime on cruises. There's always something happening. There's entertainment, there's trivia, there's something to be done. And in this case, the Lark Lounge was the place that we would all gather, and it was quiet during the day when there was nobody there, or we were up on the sun deck, and you would have conversation, and that's all wonderful. Husband and I knew that this was going to be the case, so we brought like a card game and another game for us to play, which kept us busy, and that was wonderful. We were really hoping, going back to number 3, that we could maybe bring some people in and they would want to play with us, but that didn't happen. So overall, we're not great at relaxation. I did read a book, which is wonderful, but I think that there was not enough that really we wanted to be doing during the day. So that's a personal issue maybe for us. We don't know how to relax, but lack of entertainment during the day I found was a negative. And then the number 1 negative, which I have always spoken about thus far as a positive, but I know can be a negative. And I was kind of proud of myself that I turned that negative into a positive, and that is the uncertainty of a river cruise. Mother Nature does not mess around. So water levels can be too low. Water levels can even be too high at times, and that will affect your itinerary because there are bridges that these ships need to pass under. And if the water level is too high, it becomes unsafe. But in our instance, way too low water, ships are getting grounded. AMA Waterways had to punt and pivot and make choices. And although I was great with it, I don't know that I would want to do that again. We were given lots of options to do. We had great tours. But if this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for you to visit a place, if this is your live it list destination trip and you don't get to go to the places that you had planned, that's a big negative. Now, I do always say that flexibility is important when you travel. Things are going to happen, and I am all about that. But I do know that for myself personally, there was more bus time than I would have liked, and I heard that from a lot of different passengers. Personally, I do get car sick, so being in a bus for long periods of time means I'm plugging in headphones, I'm doing deep breathing, I'm sleeping when I can, which means I'm missing the beautiful things that we're seeing along the way. So that bus time was lost time for me. So the uncertainty of not knowing and not being a guaranteed itinerary. Now, of course, let's be clear, you're never guaranteed an itinerary on an ocean voyage as well. But then you can fall back on that entertainment piece, that there's always something to be done on the ship. So those are my top 3 negatives: the potential for isolation, the lack of entertainment, and the uncertainty about itinerary. But in looking back on that retrospective, those are really minor things. We had a great trip. We enjoyed every minute of it. We were looking to connect with more people. I had wished that there was more entertainment and, of course, the uncertainty of the itinerary. But we did get to see some things we hadn't planned on seeing, and we loved it. And we're going to be doing it again, and I encourage you to experience it. But I wanted to make sure that I gave a balanced review, positives and negatives. And in looking back, if those are really the 3 biggest things that I was worried about on this cruise, we had a great time. So if you're interested in learning more about the differences between ocean cruises and river cruises, please reach out. I am working on a comprehensive list. It's not quite done yet, so much to do when I got home. But I want to make sure that my clients know that there are positives and negatives and pros, cons, differences between the 2 cruise options. And I want you to be fully informed because that's the way that I make sure that you have the best experience possible. So Brenda at Adventure Away Travels, thanks for following along.